Welcome to Black Hollywood Live on Welcome to BHL Geek Nerd Tech. Today, you can climb Mount Everest on your Oculus Rift, and the Grammys blow up Twitter and streaming. Let's go.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
Yo, welcome to Geek Nerd Tech, the show we break down tech news, nerd culture from a black and brown geek perspective. This is a Grammy award-winning artist, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, Chance, man.
Yes. I'm Joe Braswell. I'm joined as always by my man Achilles Shine. How you doing?
Shine's in the building. I'm good, man. Well, how about yourself?
I'm good. Chance.
Yeah, man.
Grammy, like independent artist, did it his way,
Absolutely.
like Frank Sinatra.
Absolutely.
Like
Trump.
Like Trump.
Like your boy.
Like my boy Donald T.
Agent Orange.
Yeah, lots to talk about with the Grammys. I want to get to that and also get to some tech news and I want to talk a little bit about John Wick, which I saw last night. But first, please don't even act like John Wick ain't.
I didn't say a word.
Okay.
I literally just fell asleep.
Man, I can't believe your lack of enthusiasm for John Wick.
Oh man.
I can't. It's blowing my mind.
Let's go.
Your lack of enthusiasm for John Wick. That movie is on point. Anyway, but a lot of tech news to get to as well. But I do want to say Chance though. I mean, I just what a journey. Like what a journey to be able to do it, like I said, his way, independently, like no real album, technically, I mean, I guess it comes to album, but it didn't release it as an album. It was still,
yes, they did.
Was it? I thought it was technically like a mixtape. Oh, I'm mixing that up. Wait, never mind. I'm mixing that up. Never mind. You're right. It was a full album, but I thought they were calling it a mixtape, but I'm mixing that up. Anyway, my point is, it doesn't matter. All that sort of groundswell promotion, like, Twix commercials, everything. Like he's the hottest dude out around, and everybody wants him in the president's in President Obama's playlist.
Absolutely.
And now Grammy award-winning guy.
I mean, you got to think, man. The perfect alignment of gospel and hip hop. I've never really seen that before in hip hop done so well. And I think just being in the right place in the right time, having the right alliances. I mean, having Kanye, having Jay-Z, having all these people, being from Chicago. I mean, especially with the tumultuous times of Chicago and having this type of music being birthed from that city. Like, I think all those things happening synergistically, like, help propel him to where he is. And also having that dope track with Kanye on his album, Ultra Light Beam.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was the perfect setup for him. Yeah. To walk in with his album. So, which
Kanye got so much credit for that song, which is an amazing song. But Chance, he killed it on that. Like he's like 50% of that song for me, and also like that great performance on SNL, which kind of like introduced him to the world in that way. Right. Lots to discuss. I want to get into something I've been waiting for and thinking about, and I really want to try this, but it just seems like I don't quite understand if it's going to work. But Caavo is a company that has this new set-top box. We've been talking about cord cutting and all the things that are happening, like with all these different devices, your Xbox, your Apple TV, your VCR, your Blu-ray.
You still got the VCR plugged up. I saw it at your crib.
I got the double decker. I got the two. I'm dubbing. But there's this new box by Caavo, and what it does, it lets you hook up has 8 USB inputs in the back. You allegedly can hook all your shit up to this, and then through one cool remote and one interface, have all of your set-top boxes.
I thought it was HDMI.
That's what I meant. What did I say?
You said USB.
Oh, man.
Okay, it's all good, man. It's all good.
HDMI.
It's like USB. All right, cool. I can hook up my hard drive.
It's got 8 coax cables. Screw them in. No, it's got 8 HDMI cables, and it seems to be amazing. The only thing I don't quite understand about this, and it reminds me of like the kind of the early days of TiVo, when TiVo's like, we have a set-top box going to revolutionize everything, and they did, and they hung on from there for a long time. The only thing I don't quite understand about this is it's $400.
Man, it's out of control. This is ridiculous.
$400.
Number one, the price point is ridiculous.
Am I wrong about that?
No one's gonna buy that. And then two, okay, like how is this? So they're not offering any content. They're not offering any apps. It's just essentially a hardware device where you plug in your other devices. So I get it having a centralized place where you can access your content, but isn't that what Apple TV does? Of course, yeah, you can't get Amazon stuff on Apple TV. So, okay, so then you have your Fire Stick. Great, so you have 2 devices. Is it really that big of a deal, though? Like,
yeah.
And so I feel like it's not. I mean, if you want to watch your series and binge watch on Amazon, then that's the time that you'll watch it. Like you're saving 5 seconds to go from your Chrome stick or your Fire Stick to your Apple TV. Big deal.
Okay,
it's not worth $400
for me. Like, I think it looks beautiful. We had it up there for a second. I think it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful like set top box. I love it. I love the way it looks. I personally have all this.
Yeah.
So I am. I mean, look, I am going from Apple TV to dropping the Apple TV remote, picking up the TV remote, going input,
How laborious.
dropping that, picking up my Xbox controller to go to Amazon. That, I mean, it is a little laborious. I mean, it's not, it's not the end of the world. It takes me 5 seconds to do that. But I mean, I got a controller all on the couch. I
highly doubt that you're watching that much content on Amazon. Number one.
Most of these days.
I don't. So if we were to look at, if we were able to get statistics of your TV viewing habits and what you watch in terms of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or whatever else, you mean to tell me Amazon is top number one?
Amazon's not top, but I'm watching more Amazon than you think. Cause I'm watching the Top Gear show. I'm watching Sneaky Pete. I like Amazon, but you're right. Your point's taken.
But the point is, like, okay, so
my Amazon and Netflix are pretty close. I will tell you that.
But it's not a big deal to switch over.
You're right.
Like, I mean, it's not. Right. If it was like $30, okay, let's go.
$400. It feels like $100 max, but $400. What am I paying for? Like, I guess I just got to see the interface. I think about TiVo because the interface on TiVo was actually dope, and it still is. And the remote was dope, and it just made me feel like I get that. But
I think you're paying for the searchability. You're able to search for particular content, and it'll pull it up very seamlessly. So if you do want to watch a show on Amazon, you just say it, and then it'll pull it up.
Right.
And so I think that part is cool. But okay,
do I have to say Amazon though? Can I just say?
No, you just say the title of the show,
and it'll find it through all my things.
Exactly.
Now that's something.
Right.
Okay.
But that's what Apple TV already does. It just doesn't do it for everything.
Yeah, Apple TV does.
Fire Stick does the same thing. Like you could speak it to your remote. Whatever. I mean,
but you do have you have these 3 competing technologies now with Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, and having all 3 of those boxes, Alexa, Google, Siri, like to be able to just say one thing to one command to one device.
That's great in theory, not worth $400.
I agree. Well, maybe when the price point comes down, but it is interesting.
Oh, and my last point about it, which I do think is good, is that they're able to offer this information, this data analytics for a Netflix, for a Hulu, for Amazon, in terms of like, say I'm in the Amazon ecosystem and I watch a show and then I leave out of the ecosystem and I go to watch something else.
Right.
Amazon wants to know, well, what am I leaving for? What am I leaving to go watch? So how can I keep you in the ecosystem? So what content can I offer you to keep you locked in? And so this device could theoretically offer that to these companies as hey, information, like, hey, this is why people are leaving your app.
Yeah, because they're going to the shit you don't got. This is what you don't have that they're looking for.
Exactly.
That's a great point. That's a great point for the company,
right?
Not necessarily for the consumer,
right?
But I think that to make it more, I mean, putting it in a nice wood grain top box is not enough to charge me the extra $300.
Get out of here.
I think it's worth. You said 30. I said 100. You said 30.
Yeah, I just took away like 75% of the margins.
Okay, maybe in China we'll find one for $30. So NASA had a bit of a problem. Looks like that they were they had a bunch of I mean, was it a hack, and it was a climate change data about to be deleted, and they banded together 200 coders and hackers in a giant room, and they just got busy and saved everything. Is this sounds like a movie? Is this right? Did I get this right?
I mean, you're pretty much there. I mean, I think it's falling under the Trump administration and them trying to privatize public information or keep it hidden from us, especially information that speaks about global warming and climate change and just environmental issues that maybe aren't in alignment with the Trump administration's objectives. And so I think that what they've done is they're able to retrieve this information and then archive it so that it's still accessible for public consumption. I think that's what it is. But it's dope because all these coders and hackers are using their skills and coming together as a collective force to be able to tap into something that's already been pulled from, the NASA server or the NASA website.
So you think that? So this is what we see allegedly in Russia and China, supposedly. I mean, allegedly.
Rooms of people?
Exactly. Let's say China has like rooms of like 200, 300, 400 coders in a giant room just hacking, and Russia's got the same thing. Allegedly, they got rooms of 100 plus people. All they do is hack. I don't think that we have that here. We may, or we might. But you have the NSA or CIA, but like this just shows what the power of that group think could do, and I mean maybe this is a new way of of security for us. I don't know. I feel like that we're getting towards that fight fire with fire because, and the intel is there. I mean, and Russia and China are both. China for sure is doing it. Yeah. So we'll see. Qantas flights, which I have not flown on Qantas yet because I have not been to Australia yet or New Zealand. But they're going to be able to let you watch Netflix on your flight, which I think is a big thing. I mean, I think it seems like a no-brainer that someone should have already done this. And why is it Qantas? And why is it taking so long? Because obviously United has a partnership with NBC. I think it's like JetBlue has one with DirecTV. They all have their own partnerships. Southwest has one with Dish Network. But no one's got to Netflix or Amazon. It doesn't make any sense. So why is Qantas the first person? It just seems like it makes too much sense. I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, I think it's a good idea too. I don't think it's earth shattering.
No.
Or I mean, it's just whatever. So I get the fact that I think the thing that's of interest to me is airliners just deciding what technology they're going to implement into the planes and to the experience of the passenger. Like for instance, the Wi-Fi sucks on most of these flights. It's slow.
Right.
Really, your productivity or your entertainment accessibility is kind of already minimized. And so I'd rather than put money into figuring that out, how I can actually work on a flight with not having to troubleshoot stuff because of speed versus having a screen in my seat. Like that's whatever. So I like the fact that I can stream now on my flight versus what the movie offering is that they're selecting or whatever partnership that they have. So I like that part, but and I like the fact that I mean Qantas obviously
it's a long flight.
Exactly, long flight. So you kind of want that additional entertainment value and to be able to have access to it. However, what Netflix and Spotify are offering is not really attractive. They're offering, a free trial, 30 days. So once you sign up for the trial, say you don't fly for another 6 months, you can't use the trial again. Right. You have to actually sign up. And I think that kind of sucks. Like they should give more incentive. They should incentivize the consumer a little bit better. Like, hey, maybe it's a different price point or maybe whatever the trial's extended longer, determining the number of flights that you go on. It's something like that.
Yeah, I agree. It also it's great because, like you said, the internet's always crappy. You cannot stream anything. Like they won't let you stream any kind of movies on with their internet, no matter how powerful the internet is. So this is good that they're finally doing that. But yeah, I feel like that there could be some missed opportunity for both Qantas and Netflix in terms of like nabbing more consumers or helping a consumer out. But we'll see. But it's a good start. It's a good start. Oculus Rift is still making their moves. They have a new VR thing that allows you to climb Mount Everest, which I think is pretty dope. I think that they talked about not just having games and not just having things, but having experiences. But not just having experiences like we're used to, which are like sort of digitally created experiences or digitally created video games. Being able to take users and viewers, which are the same thing, I guess, these days with Oculus, to places they've never been, like the moon or Mars or space or whatever in a VR thing. I think going to Everest on VR, because I can tell you, I will not summit Everest. I barely summited Whitney. Barely. I will not summit Everest. So I think this is cool. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's definitely cool. I mean, we discussed the applications of virtual reality and it being more than just traditional entertainment, like traditional narrative filmmaking or documenting, but to have something like this, which is more experiential. I mean, you could utilize this in many educational opportunities. Teachers could use this in the classroom with students.
Yep.
The medical industry could use it when they're trying to bring a theory into practice. Like, hey, instead of going to the moon, I can go into your heart and look at it from a different perspective. And
that's a good point.
I mean, so I think the ways that you can use this technology is dope, and I love the fact that not only is it just a visual experience where it's 360 whatever, but you could actually put on gloves and climb up the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So it's interactive. You know, it's not just I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it, but I'm actually engaging and making choices. I think that part is pretty dope too.
Yeah, which I don't know how. I mean, I guess it's sort of a mixture of digital and real and virtual and real. It has to be, because I can't just be, I don't know who that person is. I guess once you get to a certain point, then it switches to the real view. I don't know how that works, but I'm very interested to see that stuff. What did you say? There's nothing else I was say. Oh, you brought up a good point, which is the whole idea of like the medical applications. I haven't even thought of that. Like, putting a camera down, inside, checking things out, having a VR headset, being able to look around, a doctor like in real time, be able to say, oh, that looks like a trouble area right there. Right. Like that's on some like Fantastic Voyage shit right there. Yeah. That's incredible.
I mean, the fact that they're able to capture these things in 8K, 4K, like even with the Everest VR, like you could scale up your body. You could be almost as tall as Everest to get that perspective, or you could be as small as an ant.
That's crazy.
And so think about if you could do that in your heart. So I'm in your heart, but now let me get a like macro experience of what's happening inside one of your ventricles.
Yeah, you can see like. Wow, that's a trip. I never thought about that. That's insane. Well, I mean, the implications are limitless. And speaking of which, IMAX unveils its flagship virtual reality center right around the corner from my house. I've yet to go. It's like walking distance. Actually, you're familiar with this place because you did some stuff there when it was a Samsung joint, right? Mm-hmm. But this
nice space in there.
It seems like a pretty cool spot. I mean, Absolutely. So have you been to this one?
No, I haven't been to the IMAX one yet. Not at all, but I mean the Samsung one I've definitely been a few times. But I think this is fresh, and the fact that they're giving consumers and the audience just options, like to be able to literally, I mean, kind of what we're just talking about, have experiences they would never ever be able to have before. And I love the fact that companies are investing to really expand this medium. I think this is the new frontier of storytelling and just how we communicate information. Most of the major networks have their own VR department, and they also have investment in auxiliary companies that are developing content for them. So to have IMAX as a company that is known for clean, great experiences, now you have a place that you can actually have an experiential experience and to be able to consume content, I think is amazing.
Right. I agree. I'm actually going to go check it out as soon as I can because it looks incredible. And I think it's like obviously the first of whatever. It's very smart of IMAX to brand that because that's kind of their brand, which is experiential stuff. It'll be interesting to see like if we can't get more films. Remember that film? This will lead me into John Wick. But what was that movie? No, was there a movie that like it was like last April and it was like Hardcore Harry or something. But the whole thing was like a first person. It was rated R. It was all Hardcore Henry. Thank you, Marissa. Did you see that, Marissa?
I did not, because it looked like it would make me nauseous.
That was the thing, and like people were walking out barfing and stuff. But like, if you it was a first-person action movie, a la like it felt and looked like a video game, and it was like rated R, so there's a sex scene in it, and there's all kinds of stuff happening in it. But it was giant on a giant screen, so people were freaking out. I wonder if this is the kind of movie that worked better on virtual reality headset. It seems like that'd be amazing.
I think it would be amazing. Absolutely.
I wonder. I'm sure that's available to check out that way. I'd be interested to see if I can find that actually. And then God, it must be out anyway. And then which reminds me of John Wick Part 2, which I want to talk about because I saw that last night. And I thought it was fantastic. And that was fantastic because Keanu's dope and Keanu's Keanu. But one of the things I really noticed about it is it's really, it takes you to that sort of first person, not really first person because it's like, but it's a video game. It's basically watching a video game. It's kill after kill, going through a bunch of minor bosses to get to the big boss. But something about the way that this isn't new in films that try to replicate video games, but some way about the way they execute this in this way is I don't get tired of it. It's really just kill after kill after kill after kill until he gets to the big kill. Right. But I'm riveted. It's just, I think it's the way they shoot it. I think it's the execution of his director guys being two stuntmen that know him. I think it's the gritty reality of the car stuff, the gun stuff, something they created called Gung Fu, which is dope. I'm all in on this, and I think but it speaks to sort of the culture of how we consume media through the video game culture and how we can watch this, and it's just like a seamless sort of your brain clicks in a different way.
No, I get it. I get those arguments, and when I was saying boo or I was asleep to this movie, like I'm just playing. Like, I think from an action film perspective, I think it's an amazing concept. The first one was dope. Yep. From a narrative perspective, though, that angle is just like whatever, but I know that's not the point of it. The point of it is blood, guts, excitement, and figuring out dope cinematic ways to explore that, and so I think that's cool. But if you're going there for the best acting or the best like story structure, nah.
I mean, Keanu says like 7 words. I mean, but he does say more words than Jason Bourne did in the last Jason Bourne movie. Matt Damon said like had a page of dialogue.
So you're comparing Keanu to Matt Damon now?
I will tell you this: John Wick 2 is way better than Jason Bourne, the last Jason Bourne.
Okay,
I mean, way better. In fact, these last 2 John Wick movies are better than the last 2 Bourne movies, and I really like the Aaron Cross one. I'm telling you, it's a fact. Like, I mean, even Rotten Tomatoes, I think 90% for this, like 40% for the other one. I mean, like, I mean, they're both dope. I mean, he's no accountant. Poor Ben.
So I mean, I obviously haven't seen the movie, so I'll run you some questions. But a lot of the scene, the set design, the way this stuff was composed, the composition, the way they're using certain colors and all that stuff, the action sequences, you're saying they're all on point?
I feel like that this is the best realization. And that's the other thing. It's graphic novel, sort of like comic book realization meets anime, like the Matrix did with the kind of bite and ghost in the shell, meets video game culture, and it's able to use those languages and translate them to cinematic language, which is amazing. The irony is a lot of what the Wachowskis did in the Matrix and sort of creating that new visual language, like using Ghost in the Shell as a template, using comic book panels as a template, and then and creating a whole new visual language, which people forget, like the visual language that we see in the Matrix that people have bitten for the last 20 years.
Extremely innovative.
People don't even know that you didn't see camera angles and shit like that before. So these guys are tripling down on that and also taking everything else we've learned and then applying a lot of the same things that the Wachowskis did, which is to get like these amazing sort of stuntmen and guys who know their craft. And Keanu's doing all of his own, like stunts, 90% of his own stuff, 90% of his own driving. Like, the driving stuff's, we talk about the fighting and the gunplay, but the driving is insane too. So, I mean, it's really remarkable. And I think that, like, I often get worked up about, like, like you said, like, where's the story, where's the this, where's the that, and sometimes it's okay not to be story.
I'm just saying that from my personal interest and taste, like, I like to have, an experience in film where everything is excellent. I mean, I get there are times where, there's going to be a film that's just about dialogue, like with Fences, there's no action. Or a movie like this, John Wick, it's all action, less of the subtext, less of the relational quality between characters. So, I mean, I get that. Like, each thing has its own place.
I do also, last thing I'll say, I do like that sort of the hyper real world. It's kind of remind me of the Warriors a little way. Like this world that, like, it's grounded in reality, but is there really a world where there's like a secret hitman hotel and the hitmen are here? No, it's more of the Warriors where it's like, I mean, gangs were horrible and that was bad in 1979, but I don't know that there was like, armies of gangs roaming like that in 1979 in New York. In fact, there's actually a whole sequence in here that reminds me a lot of the Warriors. But anyway, it's great. It's great. I highly recommend it. Let's move on to the Grammys. Oh, just one more thing about Facebook. Facebook is coming for your TV. They're getting out for Amazon, Apple, and Samsung devices. I mean, this is not necessarily new news. I mean, we knew Facebook was going here. I'm just curious as to, like, if Facebook is going to get in the hardware business or if they're going to just try to stay in the software business and come out with something that's,
I mean, they're already in the hardware business. They already have Oculus. I mean, it would be an acquisition. I think it would be a mistake if they just came out with, hey, the Facebook, TV box.
Exactly.
I think that would be detrimental to the company. But I think it might be like something similar to what they've done with the Oculus. But I think software wise, I think they're already set up to have a dope app in any one of the the major players that are developing, Amazon or Apple or I think they would be far suited to do that. So
yeah, I agree. I want to ask you about I want to switch gears to the Grammys because the Grammys were amazing. I like them. Well, let's talk about the Grammys. They were online. The Twitter performance was through the roof. The streaming was normal. Last year I had all kinds of problems streaming through The CBS app, I think it went down at one point. It was a big mess. But this year, I had no problems whatsoever. Like I got the whole thing. I streamed the whole thing. No problems. I enjoyed the experience. And they have that. I think they got rid of that third screen experience, which because I didn't see it, where you can watch it from different camera angles and watch the social media reporters report from the Grammys, who were terrible last year. But anyway, I enjoy those. But I'm curious to ask you what you thought of the Grammys, just from a show standpoint.
I think from a show standpoint, it was okay.
Assuming you saw it.
And I mean okay as a body of work. As a production, I think the performances were dope, were awesome. I mean, aside from that, like as a uniformed experience, it's just like the last Grammys or the last three before that. But I think that I love the fact that we are in a climate of protest, and which we've already seen with the Golden Globes, and we probably will see with the Oscars, and we've seen with other award shows that artists are taking a more vocal stand politically, and so I love seeing those things happen in performance and also happening in accepting of awards. I think that Beyonce was dope. Bruno Mars was fantastic.
Bruno Mars.
Adele killed it.
Yep.
Busta Rhymes, Tribe Called Quest destroyed it.
Agent Orange.
Chance the Rapper murdered it. Who else am I missing highlight wise? That was just phenomenal. I think there's one more that was from my I'm drawing a blank, but yeah. What about you, performance wise?
Your favorite Pentatonics?
Stop it. Stop it.
Little Big Town. I'm sorry, Marissa. Actually, I like Little Big Town, Marissa. Do you like them?
I love Little Big Town.
I like Little Big Town too. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I'm not like I got all their records or nothing, but every time I see them show up at an award show, every time I see them sing and I see the way they roll and how they present themselves or see them being interviewed, I like them a lot. That makes me want to buy their stuff. I've yet to do that, but it makes me want to go check them out.
I suggest you should, because coming from someone who has all their albums, yeah, you should.
Okay.
Mic drop. The Weeknd was dope.
The Weeknd was dope. We think about the French robots, coming out and doing their thing.
Come on, man. How could you hate on them?
Yeah, no, I love that funk. Like they I thought that was great. Yeah, the Weeknd was cool. I just think that Bruno Mars he's so far ahead of everything that's happening sort of performance wise.
That dude is
he's a beast. Like he's a killer. I think that Bruno was my favorite. I think second was probably Chance. I think third was Tribe. I think fourth was Adele. I think fifth was Beyonce. I'm not mad at Beyonce at all. She's Beyonce. It's a little, the whole, I am the goddess, which she is. Just how she rolled out was just a little like, I don't know. I can't say anything bad about it because I thought it was very artfully done and beautifully done and amazingly choreographed and like almost Cirque du Soleil-esque, and it was the chair and the whole thing was just beautiful.
And keep in mind, she has two living beings in her belly.
Yes, exactly. And so, which makes me wonder how she's going to do Coachella. I think those babies are going to be born before Coachella, right?
I don't think so.
She can't be 9 months pregnant. What's she going to do?
I think she's bringing other artists to help.
That's what I thought too. So. It's going to be like a big
ensemble.
Yeah. But that's my second thought. But God, anyway. So, yeah, man, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all of it.
I think also, it was great for me to see Solange win her first Grammy.
Yes,
which is also my brother's first Grammy. Troy Johnson, he won his first Grammy.
Oh,
so that was pretty exciting to.
I didn't even realize
that. And just he's super happy, obviously. But
I gotta hit him up.
That was his first one, man.
Oh, congratulations, Troy Johnson! I gotta text you up. Yeah, I'm a bad person. That's great. Yeah, that's great. And let's see what else. Yeah. Oh,
well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of banter online about Adele winning album of the year.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people think that it should have obviously went to Beyonce, and the way that she, dropped Lemonade, how she dropped Lemonade during the Super Bowl, the tour, the videos for every song, just the orchestration, creativity behind it. Do you think that it was a snub? Do you think that Adele deserved it? What's your take on it?
That's an interesting question because I think the Grammys are a sham, for the most part. The Grammys are done by the record industry. Like the voting body of the Grammys aren't on the cutting edge of anything.
Yeah, they're not reflective of the audience.
They're not reflective of the audience. They're not reflective of the time. They're not really necessarily reflective even of like the artists that are in the audience.
Right.
These are like a bunch of people who are like 10 months at best behind the scene. So they weren't in the
like
cut.
You said, at best.
Yeah, at best. And so like this is the same group that get that it's the whole Kendrick versus your boy Macklemore thing. I mean, when Macklemore won, it's just like they're always they're gonna give the Grammy to who they think is it's almost a popularity contest in their mind. Like who is there? It's like Metallica winning Best Rock.
But in that case, is it a popularity contest? Who's more popular than Beyonce?
Well, no, I shouldn't put it that way. But it's like they do this all the time. Like I remember for Best Rock Record, it was like they would give it to Tom Petty over like all these other great. Everyone would get nominated, but they would give it to like and it goes to Metallica or it goes to whoever. And it's just at a certain point you realize that it's really about. It's just an establishment thing. Now, to your point, Beyonce is who's bigger than Beyonce, who's more establishment than Beyonce. But I think that among that audience, if you go Beyonce versus Adele, among those voters, Adele's going to win. They just think Adele is better. And I think the last thing I'll say is I think that recognizing what that album is as a piece of art and what Adele was as a piece of sort of amazing technology and art and all the things that Lemonade was, the Grammys aren't the place to recognize that as that.
What do you think about Adele recognizing Beyonce in the way that
I thought that was dope because Adele, again, the audience knows, Adele knows, and I thought that was brilliant for her to just say, like all my friends, all my black friends, everyone, like what this means to everyone, like this, like to her to go on and on and on about that is like it's genuine. Like dope. She's like super just such a real genuine chick.
Yeah, I mean, you say fuck, start the shit all over.
I know, yeah. She's like, I'm sorry, Ken. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not going to mess this up with them. Right. I'm not going to mess this up for him. Like, that's how much George means to him. But everyone, by all accounts, Adele is, she's, I mean, by British standards, is like a black girl. Like by like in the way how she comes up and how she's rolling. She's very like not proper at all. So and where she's from. So that's kind of her whole. I mean, culturally, not obviously not.
Headline: Adele's a black girl.
Yeah, no, I just mean what I mean is where she's from in the UK.
I get it.
She's around and how she rolls. She's more identifies with black culture than she does like white culture. Is what I'm saying. Even though she's white.
Got you, bro.
That's all I'm saying. And if we could tell the difference, how she's speaking is like she sounds like a black person in the UK as opposed to like a white person.
Right.
Anyway, so it makes sense that she's so that she's all about Beyonce. One last question before we get out of here. Go ahead.
Man, I had another one for you. I think LL, our boy LL, hosted the Grammys
five times in a row.
Exactly. So, what did it feel like not having LL get down and having your boy?
A boy Corden?
Corden, yeah.
I gotta say, I wasn't mad at the decision. I mean, I thought LL, and I love LL, I thought that he had a great run doing it 5 years in a row, and it's a good decision. I mean, like before Corden, CBS, you look at along the landscape of CBS, you had your boy Neil Patrick Harris, and you had LL.
Right.
Like who else is going to do it?
Exactly.
And then it wasn't going to be Letterman. It wasn't going to be like so they gave it to LL, and I think that was a good choice.
When they gave it to Corden.
No, I mean, but for the 5 years, even though he's a CSI guy, because I thought that was great. I think he did a great job. Yeah. But Corden's Corden now. Like he's the king right now, and I think that like if I'm producing that, I'm giving it to Corden too. And I think that Corden, it's weird because he did the Tonys and now the Grammys, but they're both on CBS, so I guess I get that makes sense.
And also, I mean, he actually can sing.
He can sing,
musicality to him, he's acting, all of it. He has it all. So again,
I think that all that being said, I think his job as a host on this one, he didn't do that great. I think he did an amazing job at the Tonys. Right. I think I give that to like whoever his writing and producing team was. You mentioned the production. I think Ken Ulrich, who's been producing the Grammys for the last umpteenth years and was credited for sort of bringing the Grammys back. Who's a legend, who sort of brought back the mashups and everything else and years ago. I have to say, this year for that stuff, I mean, it's a little long in the tooth. It might need, hate to say it, I may be blasphemous, but we might need a new producer for the Grammys.
Or maybe not a new producer, just maybe, step out of the mold and try to push boundaries a little bit more.
Ken is like in his 70s, late 70s. Okay. How many molds can he step out of?
I mean, I don't put a
fresh look.
I don't put an age limitation on your creative ability.
That's true.
I think, because we don't do that with you. I'm just saying, man. Like, I don't think that it requires necessarily fresh blood to be able to, shift the creative storytelling of the Grammys. I just think that, like to your point earlier, I think the powers that be the managers, the organizers, the producers of the Grammys are in an old world mode, and I think they need to adapt to the times.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. But I've not met a coordinator. And last one, I did love the Tribe. I mean, Tribe, just the pure presence of Tribe. This was incredible.
I did not expect that.
I mean, and this is you know,
Busta Bus.
Seeing Busta Rhymes and Consequence and Q-Tip, well, you know, Q-Tip is the most Hollywoodest dude, though. Like, what are you wearing? Anyway, he's dope. He's a rock star. And then who else? I did want to bring up, because this is, we gotta get out of here, but I do want to bring up the Lil Yachty, Carly Rae Jepsen, 3.5 minute commercial for Target.
Yeah.
The much maligned, much people. Some people really loved it. Some people really hated it. Some people were like, you're selling out. Some people were like, this is exactly what we need to be. I mean, first of all, it's an interesting pairing. Second of all, I mean, it's Lil Yachty. I mean, I know Lil Yachty's big and he's the dude, but is he the dude? And then they're gonna remake It Takes Two. I thought Mike Will did the beat. I thought Mike Will's beat was okay. I wasn't really horribly mad at it. It was just somewhere around.
It's flat, man.
It was somewhere around the minute and a half mark where they're doing the dances with the shopping carts. I was like, something's off.
I like how they try to integrate, you know, technology into the piece with the whole VR headsets and, you know, showing them on the device and going to the TV and shifting back and having all the performance elements. That was cool. I mean, but it just seemed like they're trying to collide different worlds together, and it's forced. Yeah. And I mean, I get it for marketing purposes. Like, hey, you're reaching a wide net of audience. Yeah. But I appreciate the attempt of creativity to have this big performance set, but I just felt it was flat. It didn't really resonate with me. Like, I wouldn't mention it. I wouldn't mention it in conversation. Like, hey, did you see the Target commercial?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and do you think it was a miscast? Do you think it was? Maybe if it was like so and so and so and so. I mean,
maybe.
Are you okay with the choices?
I think
the pairing, with the song. The pairing's weird.
The pairing could have been better, I think.
Pairing seems forced, right?
Exactly.
And it's also what the Grammys were used to be about, like these mashups, right? And so they try to. Although they didn't do really many mashups.
I mean, yeah. It was a Gaga and Metallica.
Gaga and Metallica.
And you had Alicia Keys and.
They did the mashups, and they did my boy, blues dude with Stax Records dude. What's my man's name with the hat? Gary Clark.
I missed that one.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
Who was the mashup?
It was him and this old school Stax Records dude who won a Grammy earlier.
Okay.
But it was dope. Like, it was one of those like Little Big Town did where they introduced someone, they did a song, and they introduced someone like Pentatonics did. It was also weird that Pentatonics was the only people to mention Al Jarreau. I thought that was weird. I thought that was weird. Of all the people, like Pentatonics was like, we want to say something to Al Jarreau. Boom boom da boom 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 da. Anyway, I'm not mad. Marissa, you like Pentatonics, right? That's your crew.
I do.
Oh, wow. I know.
You're like hating on everybody.
I'm not hating on Little Big Town or Pentatonics.
I'm feeling
all right. They're very talented. I just, there's something about them that like just doesn't. There's something they've had like about 100 makeovers, and they're still about 50 makeovers away from looking cool. That's all I gotta say. But I love them.
You going hard on them
I'm
guys.
sorry, Marissa.
Hey.
All right. Well, on that cheery note, let's get out of here. Where can the people find you?
Man, they can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Akili Shine, AKILISHINE.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Joe K. Braswell. And it's great to be here. We'll be back next week with more Geek Nerd Tech. See you later.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.